Okay, so the state of Vermont had a Tourism Economic Day event. And watching this report that I'm going to show you later, the whole thing seemed a little bit desperate, with a little bit of hopium as well. They don't mention Canada by name, but all they mention is tourists, so I guess they're just wanting anybody to come to their state. It's like, please, I don't care who you are, just spend money in our state. But I'm going to show this clip because it's mainly for our viewers in Quebec, Ontario, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, those that used to frequent Vermont. And it's not only Vermont, New York is also struggling as well. And this article from thetravel.com shows how your efforts on boycotting New York is starting to affect their tourism employment. So I'm going to talk about all of this in this video. So let's get started with the first report.
Today at the State House in Montpelier, Vermont's tourism industry took center stage. It was Tourism Economy Day there.
This event brings together lawmakers and business leaders to discuss tourism's impact on the state's economy. NBC5's Charlotte Hancock spent the day there and has more.
Officials here say tourism is a major driver of Vermont's economy, but say that there's more work to be done to keep it strong year-round. Leaders from across the state gathered at the State House for Tourism Economy Day, laying out the critical role that out-of-state visitors play in keeping the state's economy healthy.
Whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, Vermont needs those people coming back. Vermont needs our visitors.
So let me translate that. Vermont needs your money. And we don't care where it comes from or who it comes from, we just want you to come back. Now, I might be a little bit petty on this, but this whole report doesn't even have a single mention of Canada or the Canadians that used to help fund their economy. It kind of reminds me of friend number one. If you didn't watch my video before, friend number one was somebody that basically, how do I say it, only contacts you when he needs something. He's a great friend when you're helping him, by giving him sales or helping him to meet his quota. But the second you say, no, I'm not doing this anymore, he's gone. And this is what it kind of feels like for me when I hear this report. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm being petty here. But let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me on this.
Industry groups say tourism brings billions of dollars into the state, supporting local businesses and jobs and helping drive long-term economic growth.
What's really important going into the summer is resilience, and I would say Vermont's tourism industry is known for being welcoming, and I know they're going to put on their best faces and welcome visitors this summer, and that's really all we can do.
Okay, so you might say Vermonters are actually welcoming, but your border is definitely not welcoming. So not many Canadians or international travelers are going to want to come into your country to begin with. But I do have to question whether or not all Vermonters are welcoming, because I can see 119,000 potentially not welcoming Canadians. I mean, they might welcome our money, but as for me, I stand on my principles.
As the state looks ahead to the summer season, businesses are watching one key indicator closely: lodging.
It's super important keeping people close by because not only are they able to stay and enjoy the area, but also stay and support their businesses and restaurants as well without having to drive too far away.
And leaders say those visits can have a lasting impact, turning first-time tourists into repeat guests and long-term contributors to the state's economy.
Visitors often become repeat guests, second homeowners, new residents, business investors. It's one of the clearest pathways to Vermont, and it's an economic driver.
Looking ahead, officials say they're urging lawmakers to invest in the industry to keep Vermont competitive. In Montpelier, I'm Charlotte Hancock, NBC 5 News.
I don't know, what that person says was a bit of a stretch if you ask me, and it's a lot of hopium. But like I said, not a single mention of Canadian or international travelers coming to their state, which is fine. And I'm not showing this for Canadian recognition. I'm showing it to our Canadians in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia, and other provinces that used to visit Vermont, that without the boycott, this report probably would not exist. So we can just sit back in our chair, eat our popcorn, and watch as friend number one tries to frantically meet his quota. So for everyone in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia, and for those that used to visit Vermont, I have to say job well done on your boycott. Now I'm not finished yet. The neighboring state of New York is also struggling as well. And this report is from thetravel.com, which sometimes does have questionable articles. Like this article here where they said our boycott was backfiring. This one was back in December. Didn't really age too well, did it? But this article I'm going to show you talks about the struggles that the state of New York is going through. This section is titled, New York's tourism sector took a major hit from Canadians last year. That thumbnail looks familiar that they used. It's my video. It's not the first time that thetravel.com used my videos. I'm fine with it, because hopefully it spreads the message. For the writers at thetravel.com, I know you're watching this video, and if you want to hear a real point of view from Canadians, reach out to me. Back to the article. Canadians continue to shun U.S. travel. Some U.S. states are feeling the impact more than others. New York has seen a major decline, which the entire state could not have predicted. Seriously? Given the constraint that the U.S. travel among Quebec and Ontario in particular over the years. Now, how can New York not predict this? I mean, the president basically threatened to take us over. Do you think Canadians are just gonna like bend over and like accept it? The state of New York and all the other states that are like, suffering right now should have realized that this would have happened the first time the orange guy said the 51st state bullshit. Back to the article. However, in 2025, visit numbers clearly indicated that times have changed. According to the New York State Comptroller's Office, travel to New York from Canada fell by more than 21% in 2025 compared to the previous year. That resulted in a 3.6 million visitor decrease. Now, one thing I'm really looking forward to this year is seeing the year-over-year numbers comparing 2025 to 2026, because I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the numbers out of BC, and comparing March of this year to last year, there was a 22% drop. And if you compare this March to March 2024, before the orange idiot got into the office, it was down 55%. That is an amazing stat, and every British Columbian should be proud of themselves. So I'm looking forward to getting the rest of the numbers across the country. And if anybody finds them or if anybody sees reports on them, feel free to send it to me. I love giving good news to the community. Back to the article. Deputy Comptroller for Budget and Policy Maria Dulis says the decrease has had a significant impact across New York State. There's significant economic impacts from that because these folks come, they spend a lot of money, and they support our industries and employment, and food and accommodation and hotels and all kinds of industries. The decrease in Canadians visiting New York could be felt all across the state. The Statue of Liberty, a staple attraction for Canadians, saw a decline of 183,000 visitors through October 2025. Visitors to state parks decreased by 2.3 million, while hotel occupancy fell by 1.2%. Is it me or does that 1.2 not seem right? I mean, considering all the jobs that are being lost and all the crossings and declines of Canadians and even international tourists, you would think that 1.2% would be a little bit higher than that. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it just seems a little bit weird to me. With all the current uncertainty, this is leading to greater fears of losses and cuts in travel employment. Thus far, a particular region is leading the way in reducing travel-related jobs. Travel-related employment has declined in New York. North Country in upstate New York has been hit the hardest by boycotts from Canadian travelers. According to the National Post, travel-related employment decreased by 2% through September 2025. Thomas P. DiNapoli, New York Comptroller, worries that decline will continue to reduce jobs in New York, especially in the tourism sector. Well, I can safely say that it is probably going to continue. And this New York Comptroller and all the tourism officials should probably have a plan B for your industry. Moving on, federal policies are driving foreign travelers away and taking billions in tourism spending and harming our economy as exports substantially decline. That loss of revenue means fewer jobs in New York and tougher times for those working in the tourism industry. Despite the decreases in other destinations giving up on marketing efforts to Canadians, North Country and other parts of New York have no plans to give up on tourism from Canada yet. Oh, that was so frustrating to read out. Can you just please give up? I mean, these US states and cities have been trying for 14 months to get us to come back. 14 freaking months. And they expect that maybe one day, one campaign, one promotion is going to change our mind. Kind of reminds me back in the early 2000s. I had this one friend that was basically a Cutco salesman. I'm sure you guys know what the company is. It's like a door-to-door salesman for knives. Anyways, one day he would come up to me and say, "Hey, I got a new collection and you're interested in buying." I'd say no. And then 1 week later, he would message me again or call me again and say, "Hey, have you changed your mind yet?" And I say, "No, I wasn't even thinking about it." And then months later again, out of nowhere, he'd call and say, "Hey, I got a new collection. If you buy it now, I'm going to give you this free knife." I'm like, I'm not even in the market for it. And the final straw was when he actually waited outside the classroom that I was in, brought all of his knives on campus, which he's an idiot, and gave me his final pitch. Well, it was a final because I told him to fuck off after. But I kept asking him, I'm like, why do you keep asking? And his rationale was that the more I ask you and the more that I promote to you, I feel one day you're just going to cave. Well, I didn't cave, and I didn't talk to him after that. But the point of me sharing this is that I see the similarities, that no matter how many campaigns or marketing campaigns that they throw at us, they feel that one day we're just going to cave. But what they don't realize is that the more and more we hear this kind of stuff, the farther and farther away we go. Now back to the article. Despite the ongoing losses, North Country is not pulling its marketing efforts towards Canadians. Instead, Gary Douglas, president of the North Country Chamber of Commerce, said the goal remains the same, to make Canadians feel welcome despite the current tensions. Now they have a quote here, let me read it out. "We keep emphasizing that we're continuing to engage in special messagings to show our respect and recognition of how special Canadians are to us and have been to the US. We'll continue to do that." DiNapoli echoed the similar sentiment. New York is a top destination for tourists in the US, and policies that welcome and encourage international travel are needed to avoid damaging economic consequences. Now, let me go back to that quote that you see on the screen here. Now, I do appreciate what they said about Canadians. I mean, okay, great, we're special to you guys. But what is the goal of this? What is it that the North Country wants from Canada? Let's not forget, this is the same region, Plattsburgh, that created a slideshow video for us. If you've been around my channel for a little while, I'm pretty sure you would remember these ones. It was a slideshow with all of these different things that Canada did for the United States. And I know it was the North Country that created this because they sent me an email reminding me of this video and that their campaigns and efforts that they're doing right now is just to show Canadians that they do care for us and that they're like no other border state across the country. Now, I haven't actually responded to them yet, and I've been mulling over whether I should or not. But honestly, I don't really know what to say to them because everything I say is in my videos. But I have a feeling the North Country Chamber of Commerce is probably going to be watching this video. And the only thing I can really say is I do appreciate the slideshow. But I have a question. Why are you showing it to us? You see, Canadians, we know what we did for the United States. And everything that you put into the slideshow, we already know. But my biggest question is, do the people of the North Country, or even all of New York, do they know this stuff? Do they know what Canada has done for your country over the years? Canada doesn't need an education on what we've done for you. It's your own fellow citizens in the North Country that need the education. And judging by the voting results in the 2024 election, in North Country, New York, there's an overwhelming vote for the orange guy in the office. St. Lawrence, 58.7%. Jefferson, 61.7%. Franklin, 53.9%. So let me ask a question to the North Country Chamber of Commerce. More than half of your citizens, well over half your citizens, voted for the orange guy that wants to take over my country. Voted for a guy that is going to tariff the shit out of the world. And voted for hate and racism against their own country. But most important to me, voted for a party whose voters overwhelmingly say that they don't need anything from Canada. And they supported the orange guy when he said it. And my opinion as one Canadian, your next door neighbor. Sure, you guys at the North Country Chamber of Commerce, you might know what Canadians did for you guys. But I am sure that many of your average citizens have no clue about any of this. And I will go on to say that probably most of them don't even care as well. So while I appreciate your email and the efforts to reach out to me, your message in saying how Canada is so special to you guys is a bit hollow to me. Because I know at least 62,000 Republicans do not feel the same way. So let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with everything I said? And do you think I should actually reply to the North Country Chamber of Commerce? Because they want to speak to me. I don't know what they want to talk about. I don't know how constructive it's going to be. So anyways, to close off this video, I would like to thank Jeff again for sending another photo from Banff National Park during one of his ski trips. It's been a while since I've gone skiing. I'm going to have to add it to the list of things I do when I come back. So thanks, Jeff, for sending this over and sharing it with the community. Alright, that's all I got for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you're notified on my future videos. And if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that'll show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone. I'll catch you in the next one.